You don't have what it takes to follow your dreams. You lack the skills. You have no talent. You don't even have the work ethic. You've tried before, but you lost interest and gave up halfway. It's not going to be any different this time around, is what you keep telling yourself. Imagine if I didn't say that last part and just baited you with the title so I could further demoralize you. That'd be crazy. But you don't need to hear it from me since you're always hearing it from yourself. You've had it rough and I'm not going to add to that. Earlier this week, I was going through the comments of one of my videos because you guys are sweet and wholesome as and I wanted a dose of fuzziness to jumpstart my day. If you want to be a homie and check it out, the video's right here. After I went through the comments, I rewatched the video and 2 minutes in, I said something that I wanted to elaborate on further. We all have what it takes to get the things we want in life, but our inner mechanisms are holding us back. It sounds nice, but that's not why I said it. I actually mean it. I genuinely believe we all, by default, have what it takes to achieve the things we want in life. It's part of our nature as human beings. But as we experience more life, as the societal pressures weigh down on us, as we are broken down by people, we lose sight of that part of ourselves. We become jaded, and it becomes easier to settle for complacency because we've had an immense history of pain and disappointment. We don't want to add any more to that than necessary, so we put up our walls to protect ourselves. Ironically, this mechanism isn't self-preservation, it's self-sabotage. But despite all this, that part of ourselves, that latent power that is just part of our nature to achieve the things we want in life, doesn't disappear. It's still there, it's just hidden behind all that baggage we're carrying. We just need to purify those thoughts that shackle us in order to tap into that power again. You are capable, you just self-sabotage. Let me share my thoughts so you can have another perspective to help you draw your own conclusions. There are many reasons why we self-sabotage. I'm not a therapist, so I can only talk about my own personal experiences and observations. But what I've noticed is that there are two main reasons: control and inheritance. We all want control. We want to believe that our actions have a direct effect on the outcomes of our lives. Otherwise, what is the point of living? Were we just born as sentient puppets and our entire purpose is to merely watch as our lives play out without our input? It's a frightening, nihilistic thought, and one most of us instinctively reject. But it lurks in the deep subconsciousness of our minds and creeps out during moments of weakness. See, you failed. You tried as hard as you could, but nothing changed. Nothing you do matters. I told you this wasn't going to amount to anything. All those years, and what do you have to show for yourself? Nothing. Maybe I'm not cut out for this after all. Time and time again, I show up, but each time I go back even more disappointed. We've all had moments like these that made us question if anything we do matters. It's demoralizing. It makes it harder to deal with reality, and that's exactly why we cling onto every sliver of control we have, whatever form it may take. Take those doubting voices, for example. If you observe them closely, what you may notice is that these voices anticipate outcomes to the decisions we make. If I go to the gym, it'll be so difficult that I won't enjoy it, and because I don't enjoy it, I won't be consistent, and therefore I won't be able to change. If I try to work on this passion project, I'll realize that I don't have the skills I need to project my imagination to reality. And because I don't have the skills, I'll end up disappointed with the final product. These voices predict outcomes. And then, with these predictions stirring in our heads, our minds jump at every opportunity to prove them right. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And why do we do that? Because it gives us control. When we predict an outcome and prove it right, it gives us the reassurance that we do have control of our lives. Our actions do have an impact. Wanting control is a natural human instinct. When we're given two options for getting that control, one being that we have to go through pain and discomfort for a chance at control, or one where we are guaranteed control by doing absolutely nothing, which do you think our brain will prefer to choose? This is what happens when we give in to the self-sabotaging voices. We get an easy, surefire method of control. If you don't try, nothing changes, and that becomes our reality. Where did these doubting voices come from? They weren't always there, and we definitely weren't born with them. We acquired them. Sometimes, our personal experiences made us draw conclusions that allowed that voice to develop. Other times, we inherited that voice from other people. As kids, we were blank slates and free spirits. In order so that we don't go down the wrong path, we needed guidance and correction. But somewhere along the way, that guidance was perverted into a form of self-sabotage that we ended up internalizing. What was originally a "don't be such a noisy and misbehaving child" developed into "don't stick out and don't cause problems for other people. Just keep your head down and be like everyone else." What was originally it's nice that you like to draw, but make sure you focus on your studies as well, developed into, you're not going to amount to anything if you pursue art. Just be like everyone else and get a good degree so you can have a stable job. Maybe it was because we took the guidance the wrong way, or maybe it was the way the guidance was delivered. Regardless, we inherited that voice from others, and we've listened to it for so long we think that it's our own. But it's not. The internal voice that is truly our own, the one that wants us to be happy and fulfilled, is drowned out by all the other voices we've inherited. Now that you are aware of two possibilities for why you may self-sabotage, let me share my perspective that may help you fight against it. We only know what we know. When we analyze decisions and predict outcomes, we can only draw from our own personal database of knowledge and experience. The self-sabotaging voices are no exception. They say the things they say because they draw from your own personal database of experiences, and you haven't experienced anything that refutes what those voices are saying. You may imply that the fact that you haven't experienced anything that challenges those voices reinforces their validity, but I'd argue that you just haven't experienced enough. In the vastness of this world with infinite possibilities, there's bound to be experiences that challenges those voices. You just have to seek them out. The more experiences you have, the more evidence you acquire to disprove those limiting thoughts. Let's go back to the gym example. The self-sabotaging voice says, if I go to the gym, it'll be so difficult that I won't enjoy it. And because I don't enjoy it, I won't be consistent, and therefore I won't be able to change. And let's say it was right. Your first gym session was horrible. You felt like you looked stupid. Everything was uncomfortable, you didn't know what you were doing, and the next day you woke up extremely sore. The thought of going through it again fills you with dread, so how could you possibly make a habit out of this? Well, it turns out that that voice in your head was 100% correct about its predictions. But only if you stopped there. Let's say you didn't give in to that voice and kept going. You pushed through 1 week and then another. A month goes by and all of a sudden you realize it's not as difficult as it was when you first started out. You've got a workout routine you adhere to and your muscles have acclimated to working out so you don't get as sore as you did before. And you can see noticeable gains in the mirror. You think to yourself, wait, this isn't all that bad actually. 6 months goes by and now you genuinely enjoy going to the gym. 5 years later and the gym is now just part of your regular routine. This is based on a true story by yours truly, by the way. Having experienced that, would you still think that that self-sabotaging voice that tormented you when you first started working out is correct? I highly doubt it. This is why gaining more experience and expanding your personal database is essential. It only takes one experience to completely change the reality of your world. You try and try again, and you get the same outcome each time. But all of a sudden, something different happens. Even if it was a fluke, it doesn't change the fact that it is now a possibility. What you originally experienced as your reality is completely altered by that single instance where something turned out differently. This is how change occurs and why it's important to seek it. You can only acquire new experiences if you're willing to seek them out. It's difficult to take that step when your mind is working against you, and it's even more difficult when you genuinely believe the things your mind is saying. It's an uphill battle, but once you push through and reach the top, it becomes exponentially easier. Here's the frame of mind that helps me push that boulder to the top. When I say you're capable, I mean it in every sense of the word. But I don't have the skills, I don't have the talent, I don't have the work ethic. Maybe that is true at the moment, but you have what it takes to develop that skill and cultivate that work ethic. What you may lack in talent, you can make up for in the combination of the two. When you say that you aren't capable of doing something, what you really mean is that you don't have the right tools or skills to do that said thing. However, you are capable of developing those skills and acquiring those tools so that you can eventually do the thing that you set your mind to. How are you capable? You are capable because you are breathing, are able to take action, and because you are human. That's all it takes. All you have to do is try. Whenever I find myself thinking that I don't have what it takes to do something and it discourages me from even trying, I refrain my mind by telling myself, yes, it may be true that I don't have what it takes right now, but as long as I'm breathing and able to take action, I am capable of developing myself so that I may one day reach that point. Alright, let's wrap things up. Oftentimes, we find ourselves thinking of wanting to change. We want to try to do something that is healthier in body and soul. Whether that be picking up a physical activity or revisiting a passion project we abandoned a while ago. As soon as we start to feel hopeful, that voice in our head creeps in and sabotages us. It tells us that we aren't capable, so we shouldn't even bother trying. It tells us that it may work for other people, but not for us. We're just that incapable. But this is all just self-sabotage. By being aware of why we do it and taking actions to refute that voice, we can gradually quiet it until it is but a mere whisper. And this will finally allow us to hear our true inner voice, the one that wants us to be happy and fulfilled, the one that will give us the power to transmute our dreams to reality. Will you keep listening to those self-sabotaging voices, or will you take the journey to rediscover the inner voice that you lost? That about wraps it up. Take care, guys. See you next time.